be testing out Gemini 2.5 Pro along with some new updates from Qwen in terms of coding. And also we'll be looking at GenSpark, which has some new updates when it comes to its AI agents, the super agents, and some of the cool stuff it can do inside there. It's actually amazing for scraping and looking through the web, but we'll come onto that in a second. So the first thing that we're going to look at is Gemini. Now Gemini have launched Gemini 2.5 Pro, as you can see right here, and it is a new update that just came out a few days ago. Now if you haven't tested it already, you can actually access it for free inside AI Studio if you go in the top right and then click Gemini 2.5 Pro preview. And additionally, inside Gemini you can build some absolutely awesome apps. So for example here you can see that we can easily build out, for example, like this drawing app, and a lot of this stuff just works perfectly first time round. So for example, if we want to change the colors, draw a little smiley face right there, we can easily do that, and the creativity is pretty much unlimited. Now the other cool thing is you can keep the app ideas really simple. So if you say, for example, just build an app where I can draw in different colors, it will just go off and work its magic, like you can see right here, using the Gemini 2.5 Pro preview option. Again, you can use this for free inside Gemini 2.5 Pro preview mode on AI Studio. But either way, you can access for free, and it's super powerful for coding. It's way better than it used to be. And also you can build out, for example, like different apps, games, etc. So for example, here we created Dragonflight. We said build a 2D dragon flight simulator with fire breath and enemy villages. Let users fly a dragon around a fancy world map, breathe fire and dodge arrows, right? We included like the commands as well, so spacebar to breathe fire, etc. And if we click on start game here, we can now start going off and destroying villages as a dragon. We've also got a health bar right there. Kind of reminds me of like when you used to be able to code with, well, not code, but when you were playing like Mega Drive and stuff like that. And that is not a bad game for a one-shot prompt at all. It's one of the only apps I've actually seen with Gemini where it can actually build first time round. For example, if you're using Bolt, Lovable, if you are using Claude, etc., it's either going to take too long or it's going to break first time round. Whereas, for example, with this, you can just easily build out whatever you want, and you just give it like one prompt most of the time and it will just go off and do its magic. So it's pretty amazing what it can do and how it can do it. Here's another example. So this is a brainwave visualizer. It actually has audio, but I've muted it just because I don't want to, you know, blow your speakers or something like that. So let's click on, for example, here, and you can see we can visualize like different waves. So this is a brainwave visualizer. We can click these buttons to simulate different mental states, right? So for example, the meditate wave will actually calm down the waves. Focus mode changes it to that. Sleep mode, you've got an example, and then stress as well. So you can see how the brainwaves are visualized here and how easy it is to set this up and just get started with it, right? So if you want to build like anything that you want, really, you just want to come up with different ideas. Now, if you're not sure what to build, what you can actually do is you can just go onto ChatGPT and say like, just give me, you know, give me 10 ideas for apps I can build, and then either put in your niche, your industry, your business, or what you're interested in, right? So for example, if I'm interested in guitar, for example, right? Give me some app ideas plus the prompts. We can say something like that. And then ChatGPT is really good for coming up with the ideas, and from there you can start building out if you want. So for example, here we've got an idea, so we'll grab that and then we'll go back to Gemini. Again, you can do this inside AI Studio as well, and then you can plug in this, select canvas so you can actually preview the HTML as you code it, and you can also have like multiple different apps being built at the same time. So if we open up another tab here, and then we're going to go back in here and we'll say, right, okay, interactive guitar trainer. So we'll plug that into another tab on Gemini, hit enter, and now we can just build out multiple apps, and all we need is the idea, which we didn't even come up with. We've got AI to automate that too. So it's pretty amazing what you can do and how you can do it, and you know how easy it is and how powerful it is. So here's another one, and again, this works for any industry, any niche, any idea, etc., as long as you keep it relatively simple. So we'll put canvas there. It's also got this explore gem section as well, which is quite interesting inside Gemini now as well. So you can see some ideas of what gems have been built. These are pre-made ones. You can also create your own gems. So you can save stuff that you've created, right? Like so, which is pretty cool as well. But if we go back to our app, as you can see, it's starting to build that out. Same with this one. And it really doesn't take long at all. Now, if you want to build something a little bit more complex, here's another example of like a more detailed prompt. I actually created this inside AI Studio. This is a much longer prompt, like you can see, and also I just wanted to show that you can do this for free as well. So if you go inside Google AI Studio and you say something like create a single file HTML and JavaScript app simulating a medieval siege using 2D physics, include a dragon catapult, destructible castle walls made of bricks and soldiers that react when hit. Add sliders, control the launch speed, angle, wind, include battle effects and sound effects, right? And so we've got all the code right here, and then what we can do from there is if we copy that code, and if you're using AI Studio and you want to preview the code, just ask it to generate the HTML like we did inside our prompt over here. And then if you go over to LiveWeave, we'll delete that, delete this, plug that code in there, and now we've got the app ready to preview. All right, I'm just going to mute the tab so that it doesn't, again, blast out loads of music, and we can change the angle, the launch speed, etc. of the catapult, the wind, and this should work, like you can see. So if we change the angle now, and then we'll reduce the speed. There we go, and we can just change and do whatever we want with it, right? So it's pretty easy to build this stuff out. Now, if you have any changes, for example, like this, you can just go back into AI Studio and say, okay, add a score plus timer to the game to make it more interesting. We're at Command and Enter on a Mac, and then that's going to start recoding out the tool, as you can see. Now, it's also triggered thinking mode inside AI Studio using the Gemini preview. And again, you can see here that it does have token limits, but you can use it for free inside AI Studio. So I don't have, for example, my credit card details plugged in here. And it will just go off and generate it. The other thing that I would say is like it's super fast, right? So if you try and do the same thing inside Claude, Claude is quite slow when it's generating stuff. So if we go over to Claude, which is probably the second best competitor, and if we go over to Claude here, we'll plug in the same prompt. It typically tends to take a lot more time to actually code out the tool or the game that we're trying to build. So it's just something to bear in mind there too. The other cool thing you can do as well is if you go over to OpenRouter, inside OpenRouter you can grab the API key inside the model section. So if you scroll down, go to Gemini 2.5 Pro preview. You want to make sure that you check the date before you use this API, so you can see here that it is created on May the 7th. And then you can either use this inside the chat, or you can grab an API key inside OpenRouter as well, and then use that to code. So for example, if we go over to Visual Studio Code, we can start coding with that inside Client or RuCode or whatever we want, right? So if we go to settings over here, and then go to OpenRouter, plug in your API key, select the model that you want. Then we'll select 2.5 Pro Preview, hit save, and we can start coding like that as well. So if we go back to the prompt that we used inside AI Studio, we'll grab that, we'll plug this into Visual Studio Code like you see, and then we can go off and start using this. Now, if you don't know how to set up, for example, any of these tools that I'm using, or you need some help, or you're struggling or want some ideas or prompts or want to meet people in the same niche as you, etc., then feel free to get the AI Profit Boardroom, link in the comments description. Basically, in the AI Profit Boardroom, we've built an awesome community where you can learn how to make more money and save time and automate using AI. It's an awesome community, super active, tons of great posts in there, tons of courses and classrooms and templates, and also weekly Q&A calls which you can jump on and ask any questions you have, like you see right here. So if we go back now, we've got the next preview of our code ready to go. We can click the copy mode, and we'll go back to Live Weave, and if you want to preview this, let's do that. So I'm just going to refresh the page, plug this in, and there we go. We've got a score and a timer, right? So we have to now quickly do this before we run out of time, right? And you see how easy that was to set up and how easy it is to make sure that it works. Now let's have a look at some of the apps we just coded a second ago. So this is the guitar chord visualizer, like you can see right here. I can confirm the A minor chord is correct as a guitar player myself. We can actually play the sound and we can toggle dark mode as well, which is pretty cool. And also if you want to share this stuff that you've created, you can just copy the link like so. And then you can see this will be hosted on a subdomain inside gemini.google.com. But it's absolutely amazing what you can do now. It's so easy to do. You can flick between the chords. You can build whatever apps you want. Here's another example. So this is the guitar fretboard quiz. And then it will ask you, okay, like what's the notes, etc. Really good for like learning the guitar. So yeah, anything that you want to build. Now you're not just limited to, this is crazy. So you're not just limited to, for example, building out, I mean, look at this. This is the output from Claude. Look how bad that is compared to the output that we got previously from Gemini, right? It's just nowhere near as good. It's kind of really buggy. It's messing up right there. Doesn't make any sense. Whereas, you know, you use something like Gemini Studio and you're absolutely living the dream. If we have a look at the rankings, let's have a look where we're up to in terms of the rankings. So you can see Pro Experimental, it just got launched this week and it's already working its way up the rankings. But honestly, if I compare all of these models, I'm easily going to say that Gemini 2.5 Pro Experimental is the GOAT, is the best out of all of them. Now, if we go back to, for example, Visual Studio Code is using the MCP, but essentially we can select here Gemini 2.5 Pro Preview and then use that to generate outputs, as you can see. So pretty easy and simple. The other one that I really like to code with is RuCode. So if you go over to RuCode, 3.16 has just been released actually, which is interesting. And then inside here, we can start coding with that too. We just need to make sure that we've got OpenRouter selected, and then we'll select Gemini 2.5 Pro Preview. Honestly, actually, to be fair, like they've improved the UI a lot on RuCode. I would say it's probably better now, especially if you look at the settings. Like it just looks a lot nicer. So if we hit done, then we're gonna go inside here. We'll plug that in. And we can start going off and coding. Additionally, if you look at the Web Dev Arena leaderboard, you can see here the AI is absolutely crushing it. So Gemini 2.5 Pro Preview is right at the top and only just got launched this week, which is crazy. And then you can see Claude 3.7 Sonnet is below it, right? So for development, for coding, etc., Gemini 2.5 Pro Preview is absolutely crushing it. Now, the other cool thing that you can do if you want to figure out, okay, like what tools can I create, etc., in your niche, then you can go onto Ahrefs and you can type something, for example, like SEO, and then type in tool or calculator, etc. So you put in your niche and then tool or calculator, whatever you want. Go inside here and you can see what people are searching for, right? So you can figure out, okay, people are looking for these tools, so I can go off and build them and then share them on the web and either rank them or create them, and they're more likely to be used by other people as well, right? And that's how you can monetize them. So for example, like white label SEO tool, SEO tracking tool, rank checkers, etc. These would do really well if you built out a tool using Gemini. Additionally, you can do the same inside Google here. So if we type, for example, like, let's say your niche is SEO, you can type in SEO tool and then just see what people are creating and that sort of thing. So there you go. So if you want to replicate this stuff yourself and do it all for free, do it inside AI Studio, create the code, then go to liveweave.com and from there go off and do it. Now if you want like full in-depth tutorials for all this stuff that I'm talking about, then feel free to get the AI Profit Boardroom, link in the comments description. Inside there, inside the S&P section, you'll see like we have step-by-step instructions on how to do everything that we show you, right? So for example, you got Gemini 2.5 Pro and how to use it step-by-step right there. We've got Notebook LM, and this gets updated every single day. So like the value of the AI Profit Boardroom improves every single day. The other final thing that I was going to say with the new upgrade is that you can actually use Gemini 2.5 Pro inside Firebase as well to create your own apps, right? Now this just got launched this week as well, so it was previously running with 2.0 Flash, which was not very good, to be honest. Gemini 2.5 Pro is a lot better when it comes to AI from Google. And then inside here, you can just create whatever app you want. So if we took an example like this, we'll take that, we'll plug this in here, and then we're going to say, okay, colors equal, and then I'll put my brand colors. We'll plug that in, prototype with AI. And it will start going off and giving us an app blueprint. All right, so for example, color scribbler, drawing canvas, color palette, color selection, clear all option, and then we can prototype the app. We've got the color ideas right here. So primary color, background color, and accent. You can change those if you want to. And then if we click on prototype this app, we can just go off and start building. And then if we go back to the game that we created with Visual Studio Code, you can see that's coded right here. It said, the AI has told us, right, I've created the single file HTML and JS. Medieval Siege game is requested. It includes a draggable catapult, destructible walls, etc. And then we've opened that up and we can see that inside our browser right here, right? So let's try this out. There we go. And there you go, it's easy to build out games and that sort of thing. I honestly think the outputs are typically better directly from AI Studio than they are from Visual Studio Code. But the difference here is like with Visual Studio Code, you're building locally, right? You're not building with, you're not building like online in somewhere where, you know, your data's shared and that sort of thing. Here's another one that we built. So this was a random idea for startups. So random startup idea generator. And then if we click generate idea, we can get a bunch of ideas right here. Right? So let's go back to Firebase, see what we got here. So it's building out the blueprint.md, beginning to code out. You can code multiple projects at once. You are limited on the free plan to 10 workspaces at a time. So that's the maximum that you can build out. And then it's creating the project right here. So you can see between like, you know, using Gemini, AI Studio, Firebase, Visual Studio Code, etc. It's so easy to build stuff out and create like really awesome projects using Gemini Pro. And to be honest, like I don't think any of the other AIs even compare at this point. Like I'm sure if Claude Sonnet 4 comes out or DeepSeek R2 comes out, maybe they'll be on the same level, but Google have gone from like absolute nowhere. I remember trying Bard and it was terrible to something like this where it's unbelievably good. It's probably the best in the world, especially for coding. So here we have the color scribbler. You can see it works perfectly. So we'll clear all. There we go. beautiful drawing, Picasso level, and then you can see that we can easily get that app working, right? How long did that take? No time at all, right? If you actually want to make it an app, then you can click the link here and copy the preview URL, or you can just scan that on your phone. And then if you scan it on your phone, you've got that app ready to test and preview yourself, right? So it's absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. Game changer. Totally changed everything, I think, for AI, and it's crazy how quick these updates come out. So thanks so much for watching. If you want to get all my best prompts, tips, templates, workflows, AI agents, automations, make.com automations, NA10 templates, etc., and even the videos on how I create AI avatars as well, then feel free to get that inside the AI Profit Boardroom. This is an awesome community focused on making more money and saving you time with AI. It's available to click link in the comments and description, and additionally you can post in the community anytime you get stuck, or jump on the weekly Q&A calls like you can see right here. If you want all the SOPs on using Firebase, Gemini Studio, Qwen, Rucode, etc., it's all inside the AI Profit Boardroom SOP section, and we update this section every single day, so you continuously just get more and more value, right? Because we're building out more and more and more SOPs and templates and workflows inside the AI Profit Boardroom, so you can just make it, the best possible community that you can. Additionally, if you want to get a free one-to-one SEO strategy session that shows you how to get more leads, traffic, and sales with SEO, feel free to get that link in the comments description. We'll show you how we take websites from 0 to 145,000 visitors a month and generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales on autopilot. On this free link building acceleration session, you'll get a free SEO domination plan, discover the secrets of SEO link building, answer any questions you have, and you'll learn the best link building strategies for your website based on what's working for us and our happy clients, like you can see right here. Feel free to get that link in the comments description, and we'll come on to the next section. If you have any questions in between, feel free to ask. Alpha S is the new version of Gemini 2.5 Pro preview inside Rucode. It is available inside Rucode, so if you go to Open Router and then inside Open Router, just select Gemini 2.5 Pro preview and you'll find it right there. It's all available in there. So just go, So the main model that you want to be using is you select Open Router, grab the API key, go to models, and then make sure you're using Gemini 2.5 Pro preview inside the model section here. And that's the one that you can use. So you can see it's created on the 7th of May. So GenSpark have this brand new feature called AI Sheets. Now, if you've never used GenSpark, this is basically an AI super agent. It's absolutely awesome for example, like creating Google Sheets. It's absolutely awesome, for example, for creating like presentations, research, creating apps, games, tools, etc. If you want to see some examples of what I built previously, take a look at this. So, for example, games, translations of your website, etc., you can easily build on GenSpark. So here's an example. This is the SEO adventure, and you can see that we created this game where basically links to our funnels as well. So it's kind of like a lead generation method, but also we can just play it and create it with AI, right? So it's one of the best AI tools I've seen on the internet, because it takes something like the API directly from Claude and then connects it to many different tools, MCPs, etc., and creates something that's just absolutely awesome and way more powerful and independent, right? Here's another example. So I actually created this page with GenSpark as well. This was super simple to create, and then pasted the code into the service page. Another example here. And so this was an SEO content generator. You can plug in your API key, and then from there, plug in your target keyword for SEO and the outline for your article, and then generate the content directly there. And this is hosted on GenSpark's subdomain as well, so you can also deploy it through GenSpark. Additionally, this was a full website that I created with GenSpark, and yeah, it's just absolutely awesome as an AI super agent to just go off and do whatever you want. Here's another example. So this is a 3D runner game. And literally, you don't even need to be able to code to build this stuff out. It's absolutely awesome. So let's have a look at this new feature, which is the spreadsheet feature. And basically, this is super powerful if you want to scrape the web and just build stuff out. So if we go over to GenSpark here, let me show you exactly what I mean. Inside GenSpark, you can actually go to the sheet section here. So you'll see this spreadsheet icon on this side. And then from there, you can now start generating, for example, like scrapes of the internet or lead generation methods and that sort of thing. So for example, if we go in here and we say, right, okay, I'm an SEO link building agency looking to white label for other SEO agencies. Give me a list of small to medium sized SEO marketing agencies I can contact with relevant details, right? You can also, for example, input with your mic here, and you can attach stuff as well. So if we hit enter like so, we can use the super agent now to just go off and scrape and do lead generation for us. So not only can it code or build websites, apps, or games, or translate your site, or whatever you want, it can now also do lead generation for you as well. It's pretty advanced. I'm pretty sure as well, if you gave it your email login details, it could probably go off and do the outreach for you. So it's going to start building out this spreadsheet for us now, and you can see it's actually planned out the tracker for us as well directly. So if we go inside here, you can see we've got the agency name, location, website, contact email or phone number, services offered, size, and social media. All right. I'm just going to stop it there and say don't include the email address just because I don't want to show that on a live stream. I think that'll be unfair to people. I'll just put for data protection, but do everything else. And then we can start scraping like so. So it's smart enough to build the tracker, start searching for us, and then start gathering the information as well. Now you can view what it's doing each time as well. So it's actually searching the web for stuff like, for example, top, small, medium SEO agencies, for example. And then it's just going off and figuring out based on the snippet and the URLs, which agencies it could potentially include in the list. Okay. So if we go inside here as well, it's doing multiple different searches. So for example, it's searching Clutch. It's also listing small and medium SEO firms. Basically, what you're doing with this AI super agent is you've almost got like a virtual assistant. So this is something that I would hire a virtual assistant for previously. Maybe you pay them like depending on what country they're on, maybe like $5 an hour, something like that. But now you can easily automate that process using this. And that it's based on up-to-date data. Plus, you can see all the work, right? So it's quite easy to quality control and see what it's doing along the way and self-correct it if you see any problems. Now, the other cool thing here as well is like you could open multiple different instances of GenSpark and then do something else in the background, right? So, for example, if we open up another tab, whilst our agent is running in the background here, we can then go back into GenSpark and then run another task, right? So, for example, it's got stuff like background remover, right? You can easily remove the background from images and that sort of thing. Now, if we actually open up the research, you can see everything that's doing here is pretty cool. And if we X off that, you can see all the data that's being inputted into the sheet, right? So for example, it's got the agency name, the location, the website. Obviously, we asked it to remove the phone number and email address, and then the services offered, right? So it's doing the research on like, okay, this is what this agency offers and how it could be relevant to you. And also the size of the company, right? So if you want to, for example, just find companies that are maybe 50 employees to 200, etc., you can easily do that. And also, it's going to show you, okay, which social media platforms is he using, right? And that's just getting filled out in real time. So it's also super fast. Now, if we click on this link, let's just double check that works. So if we click on the link, that is working perfectly, which is great. And then if we go back to the spreadsheet, it's doing its magic here and just filling out all the files. It's pretty amazing, to be fair. Now, you can also fact check the content, right? So if you're like, okay, I'm not sure that Ninja Promo has 51 employees. Well, we can click on fact check the content and then stop what it's currently doing and just hit enter here. Right, and it'll actually fact check different columns and different parts of the spreadsheet as well. If it's something data driven, you can also click on visualize and then use that to visualize the information that you have as well. But the main thing here is like, you know, you've basically got a research agent that is great for lead generation. Like I know a lot of people worried, okay, how do you do lead generation or how do you actually monetize your processes with AI? This is an easy way to do that, right? Using this. So now it's like, right, here's a summary of all the stuff we've done. The list provides you with a solid starting point for outreach. Would you like any extra information? Would you want to add anything? If we say, for example, inside here, okay, add a link to their social media profiles. Or even better, let's stop that. And we'll say, right, add a link to the social media profiles. Plus include some relevant personalized information / notes I can use for my outreach to each company. And what it's going to do from here, if we hit enter, is it's just going to add like more personalized outreach, right? So you can then, for example, use that to get better responses, to write your email templates, to figure out how to contact them. So that could be through social media or phone or email or even a combination of all of them. And it will just add in the headers and start working its magic, right? So it's like, right, I see the current table with 15 agencies already populated. Now you'd like me to add the social media links. Let's start adding it in. So we've now got a section that says outreach notes. And it's going to start updating the cells with the social media links as well. So you see here how it says, for example, for Ninja Promo IO, recently won awards for their digital marketing campaigns. Their case studies show strong link building expertise for SaaS clients, blah, blah, blah. And basically, we're going to get personalized notes for each agency in the spreadsheet, as well as their links to social media. And this data would be great for, you know, if you were doing, for me, for example, like reaching out to some of these agencies, we work with a lot of big SEO agencies doing white label for them. So this is like an ideal way to do outreach. And bear in mind as well, like a lot of big agencies, they're not going to do all the work themselves. They're going to outsource a little bit here, a little bit there, etc. And we're usually one of the agencies that helps them with that sort of stuff. So that's how we're scaled. Our best clients are our agencies, our link building agency. So, you know, this would be a very practical use case and something that we can actually use in reality. Now, they've also got this presentation section here where you could, for example, if we click on new update here, we can see what you can do. So you can like change the text and style, you can edit the image, And you can also, for example, like edit the different slides here. So let's try this out now. We've covered the update on sheets. Let's try the update on slides. So if we go inside here and we're like, right, okay, research the latest update from Gemini 2.5 Pro preview this week and create awesome presentation about it, the benchmarks, what it means, etc. Right? And then we'll say brand it as Goldie Agency, brand colors here, and we'll put this for Julian Goldie, research Goldie Agency / Julian Goldie, plus include some relevant info and images that match the content of the presentation. All right, so we've got quite a packed out prompt there. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to research a topic that's brand new. So the AI agent needs to connect to the internet and research to figure out. Then it needs to create an awesome presentation with the benchmarks, all the data, etc. From there, it's going to brand out that presentation. And also we've asked it to personalize the presentation to us, our agency, plus include funnel links throughout to our different services, right? Which is great for like presenting on a YouTube video, or for example on a webinar, or even for example directly to a client on a coaching call. So if we enter like so, it's going to start searching the web. So we can see the searches it's making, and it's pretty fast for getting the results. Like you can see, it's literally got the information like right there straight away. Now it's going through each page. So for example, today we're releasing early access to Pro Preview, blah, blah, blah. It's looking through the page. It also seems to be able to read screenshots or use them at least as well. It's very easy. It's very good at like scraping the web. Like for example, search Julian Goldie Agency there. It's gathered all the information about me. Our agency has gathered like relevant pictures as well of me. So for example, this is our SEO Elite Circle, our brand colors, an image from the website, some interviews I did, etc., even a testimonial image. I'm just going to use that inside the presentation, right? So if we X off that now, it should start thinking about the canvas and starting to create the slides, right? So you can see here it said, let's create the slides one by one. And like you can create really awesome presentations now very quickly using this process. For example, like inside the AI Profit Boardroom, if we scroll down here and we go to the information about DeepSeek, we actually created a couple of presentations about the new leaks on DeepSeek Prover 2. And that was pretty easy to create. So you see as well, this is the background remover. So it's removed the background from that image we created earlier. You can also like redraw stuff, AI image expand, try on clothes, etc. See what you look like in different clothes. And then this is the presentation that's being built out, right? It looks pretty awesome. Like, I mean, normally you would pay a virtual assistant or a designer on maybe Fiverr.com to build you out a presentation like this, and then you'd have to give them all the details and all the information. Now you can just save yourself $200 or $300 and just build out that presentation on autopilot using the prompts that I've shown you just now. And you see the branding is quite nice. It's used our brand colors. It's included information about us. It's also, for example, included all the information about Gemini 2.5 Pro preview. And once the presentation is finished building out, additionally, you'll be able to load that on a subdomain and preview it, right? So it's really powerful. It's done all the research here as well. So for example, number one on Web Dev Arena, which it actually is. It's got the benchmark details here as well. That was incredibly easy to do on autopilot. So you've seen the new update on Sheets and Slides. There's also a bunch of other stuff you can do here. So if you go down to this section here, there's an advanced agent section where, for example, you've got the GenSpark Super Agent, AI Slides, AI Sheets, Agentic Deep Research, Agentic Fact Checking, which is pretty cool. And then also you can make outbound calls. So for example, if we click on this one, we've actually got the transcript and the call recording of the outbound call from the AI agent. And you can just connect this to whatever phone number you want, right? So if you plug in your phone number, then verify it with a text, then you can get it to do outbound calls for you as well, which is crazy. So you can see here the transcript. It's got the assistant and then the actual person speaking, right? And it books a table. And then you can listen back to the recording over here. Crazy stuff. Now, if you wanted to distribute the presentation easily, what I would recommend is you just create it on Google Slides and then you share it. Well, you create it on AI Slides and just share it, right? So for example, if we go inside the previous history here, I'll find an example presentation for you. So here's an example of a presentation that I actually built previously using GenSpark, who went off did the research, etc. on scout.new. And then if we click on view and export, we can export that to a subdomain, and that's the easiest way to share this stuff, right? So actually create a subdomain that you can share with people. They can just scroll through the page. You can also play the slides here. So if we play it, you can scroll through like so. And you can export that as well. So you can export it as a PDF and then just open it up later. Or you can edit in AI Slides as well. So if you click on edit in AI Slides, we've got this section where you can choose which bit you want to edit. So for example, like that. And then you can see that I can just type into it directly. Plus we can fact check the content, which is pretty cool. That seems to be a new feature they've updated as well, where you can actually fact check for any hallucinations if you're not sure about something. And yeah, really easy and powerful to do. So that's basically it for GenSpark. Like you can see how powerful it is. With the latest updates, it's really good for creating lead generation, prospecting. You can also generate videos inside here, do outbound calls. It's like a personal assistant, but it's a lot faster and it's connected to the internet. Plus, it's a lot more autonomous than any other AI agent. I've compared this to other stuff like GenSpark, Scout.new, Convergence AI, etc. And GenSpark seems to be the best by far. When I say, I mean, I've compared it to Manus, not GenSpark. It is GenSpark. So that's basically it. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to get access to my community that focuses on making money, saving time with AI, feel free to get that inside the comments and description. This is a community focused on making more money and saving time with AI. Tons of great stuff inside there, including an awesome community you can post in. Lots of great courses and templates inside the classroom. Also an awesome calendar that comes with weekly Q&A calls. You can jump on the weekly Q&A calls and ask us any questions that you have. So feel free to get that, link in the comments description. And if you want to get a free one-to-one SEO strategy session that shows you how we get more leads, traffic, and sales from SEO, feel free to get that. Basically, this is focused on just figuring out how to get you more free leads, more free customers, and more profits from Google by ranking directly inside the search engine and other ChatGPT search engines as well. So feel free to get that, link in the comments description. Appreciate you watching. And we'll come on to the next bit in a minute. By the way, if you have any questions as we go along, feel free to ask. So what I'm going to show you is the new update that came out from Qwen. And it literally just got announced a few hours ago. Like you can see, this is a new update where essentially you can actually use the web dev feature inside Qwen to code out tools, apps, whatever you want to build, right? And you don't need to be able to code to use this. Kind of like a bolt.new alternative. Really simple to use, but it's completely free as well. So let me show you exactly how to use it. Basically, you can build out full web pages, apps, tools. You can see some examples here. So this is an example of a drawing app. So if we go inside here, we can draw some masterpieces. Like you can see, this is a guy with crazy hair. And that was incredibly easy to do, right? If we clear that, it works perfectly. If we want to increase the boldness, etc., we can. We can change the colors, etc. And we just coded that out just by saying create a drawing app where I can draw things, right? That was it. And also, if you go down here, you can also click on edit and then grab the code, right? So you can grab the code directly here and start using that. Here's another example. So this is a e-commerce website. Literally just said write a fruit e-commerce website. It's a very, very simple prompt. The tool that I was using for this was 2.5B from Qwen. There's a bunch of models inside there. I would recommend using Qwen Max, so Qwen 2.5 Max, or Qwen 3 2.5B as well. That's one of the most powerful models, but of course it is a bit slower versus Qwen Max as well because it requires more computing power. All right, so you can see some examples here. If we open this up, we can click on the full screen mode and then you can see how the website looks. We can flick between tabs. We can add this to the cart. You can see the basket updated right there. And we literally just built out an e-commerce app in like one single line, right? Didn't need to be able to code or anything. Here's another example. So in this example, this actually took quite a long time to build. And we said create a social networking website with a red note style design. It went off, did its magic. If we open this up full screen, you can see an example right here. So this is like a red note copy. If we click through the tabs, you can see it's even got like a DM feature here. You can actually send messages. It's pretty crazy. And then we've got the notifications, the profile section with test data. But yeah, it was really easy to build. Literally all we said was one line. Create a social networking website with red note style design. So absolutely awesome and completely free to use. Now, if we did exactly the same thing inside bolt.new, let's see what we get back. So bolt.new obviously is a paid tool. We'll plug that in and ask it to do the same thing. So we're comparing side by side. How does Qwen perform with its new update versus a paid tool like bolt.new for building out apps? Let's see what we get back. Also, this is fully responsive, right? So you can see here, this actually works in full responsive mode. And here's another one that we built out. So this was a medieval siege game. So you can build games and apps. It's not just limited to websites, for example. And this one was a bit more of a complicated prompt. So we said create an app simulating a medieval siege, blah, blah, blah. Use that whole prompt. It went off and it created a lot of code like you can see. And then you can use it inside the preview mode right here. Now, I wouldn't say this is as good at coding as something like Gemini 2.5 Pro Preview, but again, you have to pay for Gemini 2.5 Pro Preview if you want the canvas option, right? So inside Gemini Advanced, you can select Preview, get access to that, and then select Canvas and do similar things. But the problem is this is on the pay plan, whereas if you want like a free alternative with one of the best AI models, then this is an easy way to do it. Qwen is also pretty cool as well, because even if you're not using the web dev feature, then inside Qwen it's pretty good just for day-to-day stuff. So you can see here you can do searches. I'm actually going to switch to Qwen 2.5 Max, but you can see here like it searches the web, it's connected to the web, etc. It's very similar to the UI from something like DeepSeek as well. And then if we leave that chat, we can also upload images, videos, audio, and documents. So it's a multimodal model. Now, if you want to use the web dev feature, you just go to a new chat like so, select the model. So for example, Qwen 2.5 Max, and then select web dev here. And that's going to allow you to do the preview. So for example, if we click on this, create a personal website for a software engineer, including sections on personal bio, including sections such as a personal introduction, education background, project experience, etc. It's going to go off and start coding that. And there you go. You've got the code back. It's pretty basic, but it does the job. And it's really fast, actually, to be fair as well. Like, if you compare the output of this versus Bolt, Bolt is still coding out the app right there, whereas Qwen 2.5 Max is already completed. And then, you know, if there's anything you don't like, because it's a multimodal model, you can take a little screenshot, like so. Copy that, go back into the web dev, tell it to change the colors. Let's make it more sleek and modern, right? Now what you can also do is if you select thinking here, it's going to be a lot slower, but you'll get better outputs because it's using its reasoning model, which is typically more logical and better for code. So you get the thinking model here, and then that will start generating the outputs over here. So we've got the test back from bolt.new, so we can compare that side by side versus the free version from Qwen and just see which one gives us this better output, right? So if we open this up, let's test this out. The settings doesn't work on bolt.new. If you go inside here, click on the profile. Very similar outputs, isn't it? But most of the tabs don't work. So for example, trending, saved, settings, etc. They don't work inside the bolt.new preview, whereas inside, for example, the preview from Qwen actually works, right? You can click through between the icons at the top there. So it's very interesting to see how close they are in terms of the outputs, but how much easier and, you know, for free you can do this. So it's pretty crazy. And then also what you can do here is like, if you want to code out locally using Qwen, you can go inside Open Router and you can grab a free API key from Qwen, which is pretty nice, right? So if we hit enter like so, or if we go through the models, you can see, for example, we've got this API and this one that are both free to code with. So if we click on that, we can get an API key and we can use that inside something like Visual Studio Code and start building stuff out that way as well. So to do it for free is absolutely amazing. And it's actually better than, you know, most people would expect. Here's the output again. So this is the version that's been recreated using thinking mode. And then the design is slightly improved, right? Slightly better. I wouldn't say it's great, but it's on par with stuff like Claude, to be honest. And then you can keep tweaking it, going back and forth with it. And then once you're happy with that, you can get the code right here. So this is the code, and you could host that on something like Netlify, for example. Now, some people worried that the Qwen API doesn't work, so let's test it out. So I'm going to go inside Visual Studio Code and just check whether we can actually code with it for free. And the way that it usually goes is like, you know, these companies release an API key, and then that one will expire, but they'll release a new model afterwards that's very similar. So if we type in, for example, Qwen inside here, we can select between like Qwen 3, 14b, 1.7b, etc. And we'll just do a little test here. So we'll say, are you working? And if it's not working, then we can switch between the API keys and just test it. But let's see. So yeah, that's working. You've got the thinking model that you can code with using Qwen 3-1.7b. And now you can see it's coding out using that completely for free, right? It doesn't cost us anything, but we still get the advantages of using a thinking model and a reasoning model. And we can code locally for free, right? Visual Studio Code is free, Client is free, and also using Qwen 3 is free, right? So I'm just going to close that, but you can see how easy and, you know, how quick this is to set up. So that's basically it. Qwen, web dev, really simple and easy to use. You can build a lot of cool stuff in there. Just make sure that you go to new chat, and then make sure that you select thinking and also have web dev enabled, right? The best two models, 23.5b and 2.5 max. 2.5 max is a lot faster than 2.35b, but obviously Qwen 3 is a more updated and more powerful model than Qwen 2.5 max. Additionally, like I mentioned, you can also, for example, create videos inside Qwen as well. It's got an artifacts feature, and you can also generate images too. As you can see right here, you can use different images, and also you can get a free API key from OpenRouter and then use that to code locally as well. So that's basically it for me. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to get access to all of my best tips, templates, workflows, SOPs, prompts, etc. to automate and save you time and make money with AI, feel free to get that inside the AI Profit Boardroom. If you type in Qwen here, you'll see tons of training inside the AI Profit Boardroom on Qwen 3, what it means, how to use it. It's a 1 hour training on that. Plus, it's got a full SOP, etc. So if you want to learn exactly how to use Qwen properly, feel free to get that. It also comes with daily updates on all the latest AI technologies, like you can see right here, along with SOPs. And also, if you go inside the classroom and then go to the crash course, this is exactly how we make money and save hundreds of hours with AI, right? So if you want to implement this stuff into your own business, you can. And also, it comes with weekly calls with me, weekly Q&A calls with us, and a community where you can just post any questions that you have, right? So feel free to get that link in the comments description. And if you want to get a free one-to-one SEO strategy session that shows you how to get more leads, traffic, and sales from SEO, then feel free to book that in. This is based on what's working for our happy clients. And basically on that call, one-to-one, if you want to get more leads, if you want to get more customers, if you want to grow your business, etc., then we will show you with a custom tailored game plan exactly how to grow your business with SEO and rank not just inside Google, but also inside AI search engines as well. Thanks so much for watching. Appreciate it, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye-bye.